Hello everyone, Impy here, and welcome back to my Newcomer's Guide to Dark Souls Remastered. This is part 19. In the last episode, we ended up tackling the Painted World of Ariamis, and we also ended up beating Crossbreed Priscilla, the boss. In this episode, we're going to be heading into the Gwyndolin boss fight. We're also going to go get a Firekeeper soul. We are also going to go kill some Titanite demons, and we're going to go to the Duke's Archives and kind of complete the first chunk of that. So before we continue, I'm going to go ahead and swap out my gear for the Dark Moon Seance Ring. And what this will do is it will open up this hidden path. Now there's another way to open up this path. I'll talk about it here in a minute. For now though, go ahead and head down here, and we're going to kneel in front of Gwyndolin's boss door. And this will allow us to join Dark Moon Covenant. So, we got two items here. The first one is the Blue Eye Orb. Now, you might remember earlier in the game when we first fought the Bell Tower Gargoyles that we ran into, right after it anyway, we ran into Oswald of Karim. And he was basically willing to absolve you of your sins. Sins in this game are obtained from various things. In fact, attacking Crossbreed Priscilla, that was a sin. Killing Shiva and his lackey in Blighttown, that was a sin. Abandoning a covenant without the help of Oswald of Karim, that's a sin. So we have been slowly doing things that build up sins, and that actually makes you more likely to be invaded in the game. And that's because if you're a member of the Dark Moon Blade Covenant, you can basically come here and get this Blue Eye Orb from him. And this Blue Eye Orb doesn't actually require you to be a member of the Dark Moon Blade Covenant, but once you have it, you can use the item, and it will allow you to invade the worlds of people who have sinned. So you will be a attacker, basically, if you use that item. Now, for me to explain the second item here, the Dark Moon Blade Covenant Ring, I have to spoil something. You might remember whenever we reached Guinevere, right after the fight with Ornstein and Smo. If you attack her, what ends up happening is you find out that she is a illusion, as is most of what's in Anor Londo right now. Anor Londo is actually almost completely dark. It's in twilight, and there's almost no enemies here. It's basically a dead city. And the guy in here, Gwyndolin, has basically cast that illusion in order to convince undead to basically make this pilgrimage that we're on. And the Dark Moon Blade Covenant Ring is basically, whenever you equip it, it allows him to basically call on you to invade other people's games who have darkened Anor Londo. So anybody who's attacked Guinevere will basically end up opening themselves up to invasion by people who have this ring on. Likewise, that is the second way to open up this path to the Gwyndolin boss fight. You can take a swing at Guinevere, and that will cause Guinevere to disappear, and Anor Londo will go dark, and then this path will open up to him as well. So, with that, he also gives us the ability, as a member of the Covenant, to offer souvenirs of reprisal. You'll gain these whenever you do invasions for the Covenant. In addition, you can also obtain these from the winged harpy enemies that we ran into in the previous area, the Painted World of Ariamis. That being said, though, we're going to actually fight him, and once we step forth, that is going to cause a betrayal against the Covenant, so that's sins already. You can also homeward bone out, but you'll have to absolve yourself of your sins before you can actually participate in the Covenant again. But we're going to go ahead and kill him. So as far as the gear that I recommend, I'm going to suggest the Crest Shield. We want a shield that does, that has high damage reduction on magical. We're probably going to actively avoid trying to get hit, but having the shield would be nice just in case we end up getting hit by the attacks. In addition, just in case we do get hit by the attacks, it'd be a better idea for us to equip something that gives us high magical defense. And Ornstein's gear is not that. So I'm going to recommend the Painting Guardian Hood, robe, gloves, and waistcloth. Because they have, of the items that we have currently, they have the highest magical defense. Beyond that, the ring that we have isn't really important. None of the rings that I have here are great for this boss fight. But sure, I'll do the wolf ring. You could potentially end up getting knocked back by some of his attacks, and that could end up causing you to take more hits. So I'll equip that. So as far as his attacks are concerned, he has the ability to teleport. Whenever you go inside here, it's basically going to be one long, unending run down a hallway. There are pillars to the left and the right, which can block 2 of his 3 attacks. His first attack is going to be to shoot 1, 2, or 3, or potentially more rounds of arrows at you. And you'll want to basically dodge left, right, left, or right, left, right out of those, or get behind one of the pillars. His second attack will be a bunch of homing magic items that basically get fired at you. And those will follow you, and those can also be avoided by getting in front of or getting behind one of the pillars. His last attack is kind of like a Kamehameha wave from Dragon Ball, in that it's basically just a beam of blue energy that's sent at you, and it will go right through walls. He also tends to do it right after the homing attack as well, so oftentimes while those things are flying at you, he's already got one of these Kamehameha things basically headed your way. So you'll oftentimes need to run out of the little pocket that you've gotten yourself into in order to avoid it while holding up your shield. Otherwise, this is not a very, very difficult fight, though it can tick you off if you're not careful, because he tends to run a lot. So we're going to go ahead and run after him. Whenever he teleports, by the way, if you can catch up to him just as he teleports, oftentimes you can still do damage to him. So take a swing at him even if he's kind of started to get away. So again, there's the Kamehameha. There's the homing attack. And he's dead. Alright, so we got his soul. The soul can make a catalyst. It can also make the Dark Moon bow, which is actually what we're going to use it for eventually. Not something we're even going to equip in our case, because we got a better bow for our class, but it's really good if you're a magic user. Especially a miracle user, a cleric type, or at least anyway. Anyway, we're going to get the brass gear in this chest. This is actually something that the Firekeeper wears, so if you like what the Firekeeper was wearing in Anor Londo, you can grab that gear. And then we got a Sunlight Blade Miracle here. And then this chest has basically nothing in it. Speaking of the Firekeeper, by the way. The Firekeeper is none too happy that you have killed Gwyndolin. So whenever we next meet her, she is going to attack us. So I'm going to go ahead and switch out to my Ornstein armor again. Switch to my high physical defense ring. And that's actually where we're going to head. Now it's worth mentioning, if you teleport using this bonfire, the elevator that's out here will not go back up. And you'll actually have to go back to Sen's Fortress in order to get to a bonfire. So if that's something that you're worried about, I would not recommend teleporting from here to the Anor Londo bonfire, because otherwise you will not be able to get that elevator in front of us out there to come back down unless you warp back here. And again, you'll have to go back through Sen's Fortress in order to do that. Or the Painted World, I guess. You could do that too. So in this case, however, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to spend some souls. So I've been sitting on a bunch of soul items up to this point. 100,000 plus souls. You definitely don't want to be losing this much souls. So we are almost to level 30 on all of these. So, again, pretty soon we're going to be talking about where your levels are going to go next. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and warp over to the Enrolanda bonfire because I'm going to actually be going to Sen's Fortress anyway, so I'm okay with not being able to warp back here. So the moment you come over here, she's going to attack you. Gwyndolin is already dead. Anyway, we're going to be taking the Firekeeper soul to Anastasia later, so... For now, though, we're going to go ahead and head out and make a right. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, no, you wouldn't be able to go back to the Painted World because you'd have to get the elevator to go down. So you're kind of stuck. But that's okay, I'm planning to go back to Sen's Fortress anyway. So talk to them again and they will bring you back. If you want to go to the bonfire is back down that way. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and head down. I'm going to take one of these cage elevators down as well. Nice. Okie dokie, so I'm going to drop down here. I'm going to nail one of these guys on the way down. We get a Flameberg. Oh, cool. Got their weapon. Anyway, we still got another one up there shooting at us. If you want to try to nail it, you can. I'm not that worried about it, though. That being said, though, we are going to need to swap out some gear. We need to go ahead and switch to the Rusted Iron Ring so that we can traverse the muck below. I'm going to top off and jump down. So if you do not have enough, what do you call it, Estus Flasks for this fight, you can basically head through there, go up the ladder, and then you can actually walk out of Sen's Fortress right there. So we should be fine though, and we're doing a hell of a lot more damage now than we were before, so we should be able to kill these guys pretty easily. They do have a lot of damage though, so don't be just trying to take their hits or anything, but also be aware that you're doing some seriously meaty damage at this point. Yeah. Okay. Got another one to kill. Alrighty, Titanite. More Titanite. And we're gonna go ahead and head back. Oh, I got turned around. So now we're going to head back to Andre. We're going to go give the Firekeeper Soul to Anastasia by warping back. And then we're going to head for the Dark Moon Tomb again and head to... Actually, not the Dark Moon Tomb, I'm sorry. The Arlondo Bonfire, and then we're going to head for the Duke's Archives. Now, the Duke's Archives is a pretty lengthy area because we're actually going to go there. We're going to fight Seath the Scaleless, and he's going to kill us. There's nothing you can do about him killing you. He's invulnerable. So he's basically guaranteed to kill you. And then we're going to end up taking kind of the long route back to him. And we're going to go partway down that route, I think, before we break for the next episode, I think. Because it's a pretty long trek back. Alright, so now we were at +4. We're head back to Anarlondo. Now this bonfire, by the way, we can warp to it, but we cannot warp away from it now. We can also not rest at it. So be aware of that. Now then, we're going to head out here and make a left. Again, I mentioned about the darkening of Anarlondo. I don't recommend darkening Anarlondo because all of these enemies will disappear. And they are one of your sources of farming. But don't worry, we're going to be going and killing all of the NPCs. We're also going to be stealing all of their humanity, too, now that we have the Dark Hand. But that'll be later. So heading into here, we have another one of these guys. Now, this one has protection over his butt, so you cannot backstab him. What I recommend doing is backing off, and he will basically come to a stop. And then I recommend repeated jump attacks. So jump attack, move to the side, jump attack. Try to keep his side to you, and you should be fine. If you attack him normally, your weapons will basically bounce off of him. They will still do damage, but you definitely won't be able to kill him quickly. So he has a chance to drop that boar helm again. This, however, is the last chance that you have, so if you're worried about getting all the items, then you're going to want to make sure that you have maybe the gold covetous ring on. That's what I mean about the bounce. And hey, we got it. That's cool. So around here we got a bonfire. Now it's worth mentioning at this phase of the game we are not super concerned about how much humanity we have. I have 13 on me right now. I also have 33 humanity. I also have 10 humanity counting the twin humanities, so I've got plenty of humanity to do Solaire's quest the right way. And I also mentioned before that yes, we can finish his quest a different way, and I'll show you all how to do that once we reach that area. But again, if you want to kindle these bonfires, you absolutely can. I'm not going to kindle this one, but I'm probably going to kindle... And I'm not going to kindle the next one, but I'm probably going to kindle the one after that, I think. We'll see how I feel about it once we get to that bonfire, because this next place is actually got some pretty hefty enemies, I'll say that. So we're going to go ahead and pull this in order to head up. So these guys are crystal enemies. They do quite a bit of damage. And they often abuse their shields, kind of like you. So I generally recommend backstabs. Yeah, see what I mean? So I'm going to recommend you kill this guy via arrows, because he will teleport away. And if you kill him like this, he will usually not teleport away. I hate these guys. They're super irritating. Alright, so this guy. This guy is actually key to the DLC of this game. You want to make sure that you have talked to Dusk and rescued her from the really big gold golem that's at the bottom of the Darkroot Basin. This is right past the Hydra. You can come back and kill this guy, by the way, but if you've done that, then when you kill this guy, it will drop a pendant that we're going to need. So we got the broken pendant. So now we're in the Duke's Archives, officially. We're going to clean up the bottom floor of all of these enemies first, and then we'll go ahead and head up. We got a soul item here. I'm gonna head up left first. Up here, I'm going to take a left, and we have a chest. So I've got Twinkling Titanite. Next, we're going to head across, make a right. Make a left out here for a guy who is going to ambush us if you're not careful. And then there's another guy out here on the left. Along with another Twinkling Titanite. Back inside we have a few enemies to deal with. And then over here we have a mimic. This one's going to give us a crystal knight shield. Nothing particularly special. So you're going to notice a chest over there. That's probably the most difficult chest in this game to get. Though we're going to end up, again, trying to get all the items in the game, but I will probably die getting that chest multiple times. That being said, though, we can't do it until we head up. And we can't do that until we get killed by Seath the Scaleless. So we're going to come over here, pull this lever. Inside here is an enemy as well as a crystal lizard. Oof. Man, that hurts. That was almost a death. And I've done so good, too, to avoid it. Alright, so we're going to head up here, go ahead and kill the crystal lizard if you can, respawn them if you need to. And you'll notice all of this, all of this stuff. It's basically meant to kind of warn you, hey, you've got an enemy that's going to be hitting you with this, this stuff now. So what you're going to want to do before you walk in here is equip a rare ring of sacrifice. This is going to be a boss that you cannot hope to win against. He literally will heal everything that you do against him. You are meant to die in this fight. However, whenever you die, you're going to drop your souls, and it's going to be a very long time before we get back to his fight. So he's going to curse you as well whenever you die, so we want to avoid having that happen to us. So this is the moment when we're going to waste a rare ring of sacrifice. So walk in here. If you want to just stand, that's alright, that's fine, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. See what I mean? You got no hope to kill this guy. No hope at all. So let yourself die. In my case, I don't think I actually got cursed. I guess I lucked out. Usually, though, you'll get cursed, so make sure you have the rare ring of sacrifice equipped. And you're going to end up in a jail cell. We're going to go ahead and hit the bonfire. And right now, you cannot warp from this bonfire. So you basically have to finish up this next area before you can move on. In order to get out of here, we are going to kill him and grab the archive cell key. Over here we have some enemies. However, we cannot go out this door yet. We can only go out the other door. This is going to lead to an item, by the way, so we are going to come back for this here in a little bit. For now, though, the key that we got will head out here. As you step out, some of these guys are going to pull this thing. And that's going to get all these enemies to attack you. Pisakas is what they're called. They used to be people. They were experimented on by Seath the Scaleless, the boss of this place, and turned into these hideous things. Anyway, these enemies know better than to deal with them, so they're actually going to run. We're not going to let them run, though. Hey, get back here. Get down here. Oh, you suck. Ah, okay. Well, we'll have to deal with him in a little bit anyway. So, several of the doors are not going to be accessible on the right. A couple of them, however, will be. These things do have a pretty devastating grab attack, so try to avoid it. This one can be opened. Nothing back here right now yet. So keep heading down, opening the doors that you can. Down here we have the other jail cell key. So I'm going to head up and I'm going to open the cells that we haven't yet been able to open. So in here we got a soul item. We're going to head in here. Open up the door that we weren't able to open before. Oh, that's not the right door. It's this one. So head out here onto this platform. We're going to drop down. This is actually a shortcut to shut that thing off as well. So just keep going forward. And you're going to be able to drop down. Now be aware there are some of these enemies down here. I'm going to do a drop attack against one. And we're going to cut this thing off. This noise is irritating. So you'll hear some crying. We now have the Archive Tower Giant Door Key. We're going to be heading back all the way up here in a bit. For now, though, take this down. Inside here we have a few more of them. So these are the two that are crying. Unfortunately, I think they still have their mental capacity after being transformed. And if you kill them, they won't attack you. In addition, they will drop an item kind of proving who they were. Miracle, Bountiful Sunlight, and Miracle, Soothing Sunlight. These enemies, by the way, will only drop this stuff and will only be here if you became a member of the Princess Guard. So that is at the Chamber of the Princess Bonfire. You have to go in to see Guinevere and become a Princess Guard. You don't have to be a Princess Guard after that, but these enemies won't end up dropping these items or be here whenever you come here if you don't become a member first. Anyway, Logan ended up getting himself stuck again. We met him in Sen's Fortress and helped him out. We don't have the key to open this up. There's also a Firekeeper soul back there, by the way, so we'll be able to come back for that a little later. For now, though, we're going to go ahead and head up. And we've opened up all of the doors and gotten all of the items, save for one item in here. So we're going to go grab that, and then we're going to rest at the bonfire, and I think we're going to wrap the episode with that. Because this next area is pretty large, and will definitely take us a while to complete. So don't worry, we're going to come back for the bonfire here in a moment. I'm going to head up here to get an item. That one right there. So head across this, drop down, and try not to do that. Man, that sucked. Okay. I told you, gravity is your worst, the worst thing in this game. Okay, that was better. So now we're going to come in for the maiden gear. You may recognize this. This is actually meant to be Rhea's gear. We will actually meet Rhea again whenever we head down into the Tomb of the Giants. We also got now the White Seance Ring. So with that, we've gotten all the items. We're going to go ahead and head down here. Hit the bonfire, and I think that's going to wrap it for this particular episode. So in the next episode, we're going to be continuing through the other chunk of this area. In fact, the next area is much larger. It's basically going back to kind of the library section that we were in earlier and kind of traversing all the way up. There's basically two entire halves to the library as well. After we finish up the Duke's Archives, we have to go to another kind of open area with a bunch of the golems, and then we have to go to an area with some really frustrating invisible floors. And then we get to see Thescalis, so we may get to see Thescalis in the next episode, or it may be the episode after. We'll have to see. But either way, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you in the next one. Later.